geeks and freaks? Big Girl Geek here with a brand new review. And today I will be reviewing Stranger Things Season 3. Y'all know what time it is. It's time to geek out. Alright, so instead of doing it episode by episode and, all of that, I decided to watch the whole season, binge watch it, and just give you my review in one big shot. So, I love Stranger Things. I'll start by saying that. I do think I did a trailer reaction somewhere on this channel. I believe so. The first original trailer came out a while ago, and this season was released on July 4th. I just finished the entire season last night, and I love this show. I've loved it from the jump. Actually, my husband, who you guys know from, if you do this channel, from the family vlogs, is like not a geek at all, but he happened to stumble upon this, and he was like, oh, I think you'll like this show. He, of course, stopped watching it. It wasn't his thing, but I've been on it since season 1, like many of you have, and I've been on that bandwagon, on that train, and I absolutely love the show, and love the cast, the children especially, of course. And having said all that, just a little background, so you know that I absolutely do love this show. Now, so I might be biased in this review, but I can't help, I don't know, I found absolutely nothing bad about this season. Like, I don't even think I had like a least favorite episodes. The episodes were 8 episodes, about 45, maybe 50 minutes long, something like that. And I really honestly cannot think of an episode that I found that was the weakest out of the 8. So, I don't know. I love them all from the beginning to the end. I mean, the first half, I can't even say the first 4 episodes. All of them was all the episodes were very much a coming of age story. It's like the year of the coming of age stories for these supernatural / comic book / geek nerd shows, because if you check out my Spider-Man Far From Home review, which does contain spoilers, I said that was a very much coming of age story, and this season is right on track with that. This is so coming of age. It starts off the first few episodes featuring a lot of kissing, and making out with Mike and Eleven. And I know in real life they're like 15, 16-ish at this point, and I guess they started the show off when they were like 9, 10-ish. I don't know. Like, that's my daughter's age. So I don't know. I'm like, I love Mike and Eleven's relationship, but then I'm like, why am I watching this as a almost 33-year-old woman watching these kids kiss? And I'm like, okay with it. Like, I feel like I shouldn't be watching this, because this is it's like these teenagers, they deserve their privacy, but I'm watching them kiss, and I'm like, oh, this is so cute, I'm here for it, I'm rooting for it. But I'm like reminding myself that they're like 14, 15, 16 at the most, 16 at the most, but so very much a lot of kissing that at times made me feel uncomfortable, but that I didn't find to be a weakness or take away from the story. This has to be told. This story has to be told. These kids are getting older. They're not, in the basement playing Dungeons and Dragons anymore, no matter how bad Will wants them to be, which was, I found an interesting part of Will's story arc. In the first season, he was just, the missing kid of the town. He was missing. And then the second season, he was possessed. And then now this season, because he was missing in the first season so much, and because he missed a big chunk of his childhood, even when he did come back, he didn't still have those same experiences that the rest of his friends had, because he was being possessed. He never kind of really got to be a child, kind of, sort of, you know what I'm saying? So he's still in the Let's Play Dungeons and Dragons. We're this boys club, and the boys are like, nah, man, we got girlfriends. Dustin had a girlfriend that I knew. Everyone was making fun, saying she didn't exist. You knew Susie was there. And, Lucas and Max are together, and then Elle and Mike are together, and it's like, poor freaking Will, man. Will just wants to go to Comic-Con and cosplay, and he's not ready for that yet. And then him and Mike, when they had their big fight about it, after Mike and Lucas didn't want to play Dungeons and Dragons, their heart wasn't in it, and he's like, it's not my fault. Mike says to Will, it's not my fault you don't like girls. I was like, well, they going with the gay route? Because old girl Robin's gay. So, but then I guess I maybe still, I don't know, but I guess that argument hurt, and I guess it had to be said, it had to be done. They're kind of we're growing apart, even though we don't want them to grow apart, because this is the group of kids we've known since season 1. So we want them to always be together. So yeah, the kids' story in this was great. It had its very funny moments. Of course, you know, with Max and Lucas, and they're on again, off again, typical teens. But it seems like they're the couple that has it figured out. They're broke up, but they're not really broke up. You know what I mean? And the whole scene with them at the mall trying to get the gift, and then the girls are like doing the 80s montage with changing clothes and trying different outfits and taking out the mean girls. That was great. I mean, that little girl, Millie Bobby Brown, seems like she's my age, and she's only 15. She's so mature when you watch her in press and interviews, and then she's so beautiful. It's a beautiful girl. Like, she's a style icon. She's like an 80s style icon. So I mean, I love that part of it. The fashion in me, the fashionista in me loves that. The 80s clothes, 80s fashions. They were reading Wonder Woman comics, for God's sake. I'm like, oh, this show is like everything I need. So this kid's story, very much enjoyed. Nancy and her story, oh my God, I don't know why the brother's name is escaping me right now, but their story, it was all right. I feel like they never give them that much to do, and then even when they're doing press, the reporters and everything kind of focus on the younger kids more than them. They're not kids, I know they date in real life, were they like 21, 22, something like that probably, but it's like, damn, I mean, I wish, yeah, she had a little mini story with her finding herself in the real world. And in those days, I mean, it was better than the 60s, but in those days, women were still treated crazy in the workplace, and trying to find her voice. And then she had a very real conversation with him about how, like, she is privileged and he is not as privileged because he doesn't have the money that she has. And that was a realism. And I mean, all the stories came together like they always do with Stranger Things. Everybody's doing their side stories, and they all come together to fight the monster. And you know, the whole rat story and things like that. I guess if I had to choose a weaker story, I don't think that story was as strong as the other stories. And with Winona Ryder and Sheriff growing, and clearly they like each other. I mean, that whole story. I mean, she had PTSD from losing Bob last season. But I mean, so there was some drama there, but that whole story was just like the whole comedy for me. It was more funny than the children and their angst. That story was hilarious. Like when they go, they're running from the Terminator. The Terminator, side note, let me get this out the way. The Terminator storyline, that man was exactly like the Terminator. I get it, it was in the 80s, I guess the time that Terminator came out, and an exact replica, but it worked for me, I don't know why. But when they go to his friend that speaks fluent Russian to help Smirnoff, that whole, when he busted out on them, it was like, just have sex already. That whole situation and their whole side story, hilarious. And it's funny that these little things like her magnets don't work leads her to the monster, and the diseased rats lead them to the monster. You know, everything's great, and how they all come together. So yes, the kids to me was the best part, and then the adults were the second best part, and then I would say the third best part would be Nancy and their story. So yeah, I mean, I loved all of that dynamic. I felt bad when Smirnoff Alexei got shot and killed. I was so happy that Hopper was able to take out the Terminator. Now Billy, as far as him being the quote unquote villain for the season, he was the villain for the last season. Wasn't he like racist and he beat on people? So I really, really, truly, even though they try to make me feel bad for him with the whole memory of him and his mom at the beach, and he is the way he is because the dad was beating on the mom and the mom left, I still do not feel that bad when he was killed at the end by the monster. So yeah, and I like how this is the same monster but different. Like, it was the demi-dogs, and now it's, you know, he's a little bit bigger. And then at the end there was after credit scene where like a human demigod mix was released, and they said before they fed him the Russian, they were like, not the American. So I'm like, is that how did he really survive? That whole thing for next season is great. I do think, however, you know, I love the show, that next season should be the last season. This is the same monster. We've been fighting in different forms of the same monster since season 1. They have to finally just end this monster and be done with it. I hope Elle gets her powers back. I'm very sad that she lost her powers. I didn't like that part, but I still get why it's part of the story. because they can't keep relying on this little girl and her psychic powers to save the day. She's still just a child. I guess she overexerted herself. I'm sure it'll come back. It needs to come back. That's a big part of who this character is. Not the only part, but a big part of who this character is. And I do need the powers to come back next season. I will be very disappointed if the powers don't come back. That's part of the other reason why the show works and it's supernatural is because this girl has powers. And I do hope if they do come back that she brings back the neck thing, because she doesn't do that anymore. She didn't do it at all this season. It was more so like with the hands and everything. And I think if she comes back, she should be more powerful. I don't think it should take her 5 minutes to like, you know what I mean? I think she should just be like whoosh, 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 like she was doing before. Before in the second season, she was just closing the door really quick and all that. And I guess maybe when she's fighting this monster, it takes a little bit more for her, so she has to like, but I want her to just be like, boop, 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 you know what I mean? And so I get why they moved at the ends. I'm sure that they're going to have to come back for next season somehow to save everyone. So, and when we see them again, they're going to be older again. They might be like 18 or something, and it's going to be so weird. But yes, overall, I give this season 3 of Stranger Things an A. I give season 1 and 2 an A. I give the show an A+. This gets, I really have no criticisms. But what did you guys think of this season? Anything I missed, let me know. I'm sure I'll think of it after I post. But let me know in the comments. As always, I can't wait to discuss with you. And until next video, I am out of here. Big Girl Geek Out. Peace. Hey, where are you going? You just watched a cool video. Subscribe.